Hello, my name is Shaden and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about this new lens I just picked up. It is the Nikkor 20mm 2.8. And we're also talking about the first roll of film that I shot with this camera. So why did I buy the 20mm 2.8 lens? For one, I still believe that for some reason buying new gear will equal better photography, even though I know that is 100% false. And if you look back here, this thing right here is full of camera gear. I have another shelves up there full of more camera gear. Anyway, 20mm is not a very popular lens. In fact, I never even knew they made a 20mm prime lens for Nikon. But here we are. Once it showed up, I obviously had to get shooting right away. So the next day, I put the 20mm lens on my FM2 Nikon, grabbed a few rolls of HP5 film, and headed straight to an area where I thought would be the best place to put this lens to test. And that is the Sonesta Hotel. And I chose this place because there is some beautiful architecture, and I wanted to see how much information I could squeeze into one shot. And that's where this wide-angle 20mm lens is going to be put to test. I knew there's going to be some like round distortion, like a tunnel effect, very similar to like a HOLGA right here. The HOLGA is not a wide-angle camera, but this is one of the first cameras I learned how to shoot film on at the Art Institute of Colorado many years ago. It has a lens that isn't wide, but it does have that distortion. It kind of has like this wild like tunnel effect on the corners, and I kind of knew that's the kind of distortion that this lens would have. As soon as I arrived to the hotel, I realized that it's going to be a great day for shooting black and white, because whenever I shoot black and white, I always want to make sure that the light is bright so that the highlights are high and the shadows are low. Because when it comes to black and white photography, you need to have a high contrast. Or for me personally, I like having a high contrast when it comes to making images. And my favorite film stock is Ilford HP5, and I push it 2 stops, which gives it like a beautiful, grainy, contrasty, gritty look. Because I've shot this film so many times that I can kind of already see the image before I make it. And a good way to see an image or kind of help with composure is when you squint your eyes a little bit, it kind of dulls down the saturation and you only can see kind of the light and shadows. And that's kind of what I do when I shoot black and white film. I picked out a few images that I'm going to talk about throughout this video. Otherwise, enjoy these few minutes of me walking around at the Sonesta Hotel while making images on black and white film. So obviously, if I see a mirror, I have to take a photo of myself. Why? Because I am a filthy narcissist, like everyone else online. But I do love this photo because I think there is like a frame within a frame. When you see this photo, I'm kind of framed in the center of the mirror, and I'm also framed with the pillars that are behind me. Not only that, there are leading lines that lead directly to me, which is the sofa and the lights that are above me. Another interesting thing that I saw in this photo after I printed it out, and this is why I love printing out images, is that shadow on the bottom left. And one thing that I love about doing, like, I guess you could call it street photography, I'm not sure, but you kind of see an image that you want to make, and you kind of camp out and you wait until someone or something gets into that shot. So in this particular shot, the light was hitting that area perfectly, and I waited for someone to walk by at the perfect timing to capture this image. And I kind of wanted to capture this person in between the frame of the mirror behind him. So you have a bunch of frames going on here. You have the pillars, and then you have the pillars that are like in the middle, and then you also have the frame that's in the mirror behind him. So the next image is very similar. I was kind of waiting again for a subject to kind of walk down these stairs. I just really love how graphic the contrast is in this image. Like again, it was like maybe about 8 o'clock already or 9 o'clock. So the highlights were really high, especially when it was radiating off of that white paint. The next set of images are these two images, and I really love these images because I am using the structure to frame the structure, if that makes sense. This is almost the same image taken on both sides of the structure. And you can see how dramatically different it is when you're shooting just the side of shadows and when you're shooting the side of the highlights. And immediately when I look at these two images, the one with the highlights seem a bit more dramatic, but when I look at the one that's of the shadows, when I took the photo, there was this beautiful reflection of the pool on the ceiling. And so I kind of tried to meter for that as well. I don't know, of these two images, which one is your favorite? The one with the highlights or the one with the shadows? Another photo I really liked making is this one here. And I love this image because there are two things going on. It looks like two images put together as one. On the right side of the image, you have a framed structure, and on the left side of the image, you can kind of see a gentleman kind of relaxing. And that's where the beauty of these wide angles really shine. You can pull in so much information into one image. So I really enjoy this image here because you have black and white and you have many shades of gray. When you look at the three pillars, you have light, medium, and dark. And when you look at the railing, it goes from almost black to white and all the shades in between. You also have beautiful leading lines on the roof of that structure that leads you kind of wrapping around the image and looking out into the horizon, which is the mountains and the beautiful coconut trees and the ocean. I don't know, when I look at this image, I immediately go, I want to stay here. Again, this video is not sponsored by the Sonesta Hotel, but I want to go there and stay there and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars at that pool. So to wrap this up, I want to say that I really love the Nikkor 20mm 2.8 lens. Again, yes, there's a ton of distortion, but that brings character to this lens. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next few episodes because I did take this lens on a trip to Oahu and a trip to Maui that I did also put this lens to test. If you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know, do so or whatever. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.